It was 1960, Autumn Stuff. I've never known how to say Majolica, but NAJ, it's a kind of Italian ceramics, of which we had some there. They'll have a good, very good piece there on Vista. Goodbye Betty May was probably Jean's cousin, was probably Betty May. Some Dark Summer Stuff and Miscellaneous. And Betty May was someone who Jean's family actively rejected to be non-existent. And that really struck me as...
Why?
Well, because it was Jean's father, the Lizette line. It was, I think, maybe his brother. Never was clear how this went, and Betty May might have been his niece. Anyway, there was some family connection, and at one point she sort of came to visit, and she was with her father. She was sort of shown the door, here's your hat, what's your hurry, kind of thing. Anyway, and I wrote a piece about it, which I'll dig up.
But that's kind of sad, no?
That was why I made it. I thought it was sad.
Yeah. So this little, she was the black sheep of the family?
Not even that. They didn't know anything about her at all. You know, that's just... They had completely rejected the existence of it. It wasn't because she was such a terrible person, a black sheep. She just was a non-existent.
Wow.
We don't seem to have much text, so I'll just start signing these now and then. So we'll get this out of the way. Here.
So when you were doing these small work on paper, collages,
Yeah.
were there anybody in the Bay Area doing similar things?
I wouldn't know if there's anybody else doing them. I don't think so, but how would I know? I wasn't paying attention. See, I was doing the art bank at the same time. Well, the art bank had 150 artists in it, most of them Bay Area, but from all over the West, kind of. They certainly weren't doing stuff like this because they were making paintings to go in exhibitions. These weren't thought of as exhibition stuff.
Why did you do them then?
So I could hear myself talking and thinking and looking, and they were something personal. Although I did show them in a show, and there were probably some that still have, I think I mentioned, if there's a spot in the top two corners, there and there, it's because I put the show up with rubber cement at a poetry bar called The Cellar. But they were not thought of as exhibition stuff. And this one, called Majolica, or Maholica, how do I say it, was based on a jar that I had found in Sausalito right after we moved into Monte Vista. And it just expressed everything about that Italian villa to me. And so I bought the jar and I made this one about it. And this one might be about it also. So we'll probably not. There was a time when it was going to be Jean's studio. She needed a place to work. But it didn't work out chiefly because when we moved everything, it was summertime, and the kids are home, and she has a job and I have a job, and she just didn't have time to even think about doing any work out there. So I was going to work in the basement, and the sound of the kids pounding their feet over the floor over my head. So anyway, I've always felt guilty about giving her that studio and then taking it back. I got 3 jobs, and the art job you can do at night, so you keep in the house and all that going you do on the weekend, and the job you do 9 to 5, or whatever hours it takes. I was born in San Francisco, and then they moved to Alameda when I was 1 year old. Because my father worked in San Francisco,
Uh-huh.
so did my mother.
But Alameda was cheaper, probably, place to buy a
And I was
house?
going to bring up a kid, and they were living in an apartment on Pacific Avenue or someplace.
Okay.
That new, the Paintings and Notes for 2017 has a piece about that, about my parents.
Okay.
I'll give you a copy of that too, just that text.
That would be very exciting.
Yeah.
And so that your father and your mom, they were commuting back and forth, right?
Well, when I was born, my mother stopped working. My father kept on, but Gina always worked. Partly because her family had always worked. I always assumed it was part of the family tradition.
Uh-huh.
Both her mother and her aunt worked, and her grandmother worked too.
Jeans.
Jean's grandmother, yeah.
Okay.